Welcome everyone to our worship celebration this morning. In this holy place, open your mind and find yourself enlightened. Open your hands and find yourself embraced by others. Open your heart and find yourself loved. Fount of all good things, open our spirits in this hour and let your healing presence soak us to the core.
Today, some of us are more aware than others, marks the end of an era. It's the last day of us having our operations manager, Bill McMillan, with us in worship and with us at First Parish. And I have to say that Bill has been my partner in ministry in this congregation for the last 8.5 years. Now, he will avoid the M word for all his life, but the work that he has done to make all of our systems work, to make these buildings beautiful and well-running, to help us to be in touch with each other in ever better ways, to track all of our money, and to do every other little thing, including diving into water under the children's church when it was flooded to fix the sump pump, freezing water, like 25-degree water. Is that possible? I guess. He dove into ice. But I know that we will be fully celebrating him and doing all kinds of fun stuff at a party at the Nigerians' home in a couple of weeks on the evening of March 10th. But I wanted to say, not to let this moment go unmarked, that Bill, this rock of First Parish for these last 8.5 years, will be departing, and I can't talk too much more about it without getting really emotional. So I will just say, thank you, Bill, for your great work, and we'll offer him a round of applause. I'm going to out him. He said earlier this morning that he was really proud of the fact that he has made it here 8.5 years without ever saying something during a worship service. So I was hoping when he ran up, but we will miss you, Bill, and we send you forth with every good wish and lots of love.
Extending a generous welcome is the work of all of us in this congregation, so I invite you to stand up and greet your neighbor. And join in singing our opening hymn, number 108, in the gray hymnal.
Oh
Our opening words this morning are a poem by Philip Larkin called Faith Healing. Slowly the women file to where he stands, upright in rimless glasses, silver hair, dark suit, white collar. Stewards tirelessly persuade them onward to his voice and hands, within whose warm spring rain of loving care each dwells some 20 seconds. Now, dear child, what's wrong? The deep American voice demands, and scarcely pausing goes into a prayer directing God about this eye and that knee. Their heads are clasped abruptly, then exiled. Like losing thoughts, they go in silence. Some sheepishly stray, not back into their lives just yet. But some stay stiff, twitching and loud, with deep, hoarse tears, as if a kind of dumb and idiot child within them still survives to re-awake at kindness, thinking a voice at last calls them alone, that hands have come to lift and lighten. And such joy arrives, their thick tongues blort, their eyes squeeze grief. A crowd of huge unheard answers jam and rejoice. What's wrong? Mustached in flowered frocks they shake. By now, all's wrong. In everyone, there sleeps a sense of life lived according to love. To some, it means the difference they could make by loving others. But across most, it sweeps as all that they might have done had they been loved. That nothing cures. An immense slackening ache, as when thawing the rigid landscape weeps, spreads slowly through them. That and the voice above saying, "Dear child," and all time has disproved. In everyone there sleeps a sense of life lived according to love. We gather in this month of exploring healing to listen to the Spirit that calls us to live according to that love and live into the possibility of love we didn't think we could have. So may we do.
Soon another festival came around, and Jesus was back in Jerusalem. Near the sheep gate in Jerusalem, there was a pool. In Hebrew, it was called Bethsaida, and it had 5 alcoves. Hundreds of sick people, blind, crippled, paralyzed, were in these alcoves. One man was there who had been ill for 38 years. One Sabbath day, Jesus saw him stretched out by the pool and knew how long he had been there.
Would you like to feel better? I would, but every time the water is troubled in the pool, I don't have anyone to help me get there. And by the time I arrive, someone's gone in ahead of me. Stand up. Take your bedroll and walk.
The man was healed on the spot, so he picked up his bedroll and he left. Here ends our story.
Yeah.
Do you know anyone who has been healed miraculously? Do you have any friends whose cancer mysteriously disappeared? Or people who survived accidents against all odds? Maybe you yourself have narrowly escaped death or recovered from a serious illness doctors were unsure about. We may not know anyone who has waited by a pool for 38 years, a pool believed by all in the region to have the power to heal the first person into it after any disturbance of its waters, a pool known to be visited by the healing power of angels. And we may not know anyone who has met Jesus face to face, at least quite in that way. But many of us may hear the story of someone we know in the man by the Bethsaida pool whom Jesus healed. Tales of miraculous or unexpected healing can evoke hope and awe, but they can also leave us disappointed with hard questions about why some are healed and others are not. While our story this morning might sound like a simple case of Jesus curing yet another person along his ministry, it's actually about healing that goes deeper than sickness of the body. As blogger and pastor Lee Kuntz points out, the word that Jesus uses when he tells the man by the pool to stand up is everything here. Jesus tells the man to wake up, or more literally, to rouse from your sleeping. As Reverend Kuntz writes, to read this as a simple healing story misses the point. Yes, the man sought healing, but Jesus sought to bless him with something much more profound than physical healing. Jesus seeks to give this man a new life. He seeks to give him something completely different than the typical healing that this pool supposedly provides. The suffering man is, in effect, raised from his 38-year-long state to a new life of wholeness and worth. As I hear it, this is not a story of a miraculous cure for the body, not only, but of unexpected and miraculous healing in mind and spirit and will. I've read the 4 Gospels that made it into the Bible many times, and I always get goosebumps when I read Jesus' question here. He doesn't ask what's wrong. He doesn't ask, how can I help you, or even what hurts, but pointedly, do you want to get well? Think about it. This man had been sitting in an alcove with other suffering people, waiting for his chance to enter this pool, only to watch a string of others rush in ahead of him for nearly 4 decades. The original passage says that he was blind and crippled and paralyzed. And that may have been true of his body, but the refusal to see blessing can be its own blindness. Hopelessness cripples in its own way, and fear of a future unknown can paralyze just the same. Had his hope dried up? Even if he did manage to find someone to help him into the healing water, would he have anything or anyone outside the alcove left? I imagine Jesus had these questions in mind when he asked this man if he wanted to get well. Really, was he ready for what living into wholeness would mean for him? Is this man's spirit willing to undertake his part in the healing process? And miraculously, the man says yes. For me, it is the stories of people like this, stories of people faithful and dedicated and willing to leave brokenness behind and pursue their own well-being, that testify to the source of healing itself. These are the stories of people who, through some miraculous change of perspective, know they can no longer live with wealth or power as their life's purpose, and have taken pains to arrange their lives around something life-giving rather than life-seeping. These are the stories of people who have recovered from addiction, who work their recovery a day at a time, yet who speak of sobriety as a miracle possible only through a power greater than themselves. These are stories of people who have not only been healed on the inside, but whose lives reflect wholeness and shine as beacons, lighting the way into healing encounters for others to see and believe. Maybe you know someone, maybe you hear someone you know in this kind of story too. This kind of healing can happen not only in people, but in groups. This church, as an institution, is in a process of its own kind of healing. In our work on the long-range plan and our subsequent work to align our energy and resources with what the congregation itself has discerned, it is this message: that it's willing to leave behind the alcove of the status quo and put what we're called to be and do at the very center of our institutional and congregational life. As a minister friend of mine used to tell me, God loves us just the way we are, but too much to let us stay that way. And I'm proud to serve with a congregation that embodies that sort of faith. As winter seems to stretch unimaginably longer, and the snow piles up all around us, as our spirits long to be quenched with springtime warmth and sunshine, as our world continues on a broken and heart-breaking trajectory, we have come upon a time traditionally set apart for refocusing on that which nourishes and sustains us. The season of Lent is a summons to honesty and reflection. Though much in our culture would have us live as if we will never die, our lives are short and they are precious, and what we do with them matters. And as the smear of ash I received upon my forehead last Wednesday reminded me, this life will not last forever. The finitude of life draws into focus for me the limited time I have, helps me see the urgency of living with what's really important at my very core. Forget 38 years. I don't have an hour to waste sitting in alcoves of brokenness or bad habit. I don't have a moment to spend rationalizing why making my life better wouldn't work out, or would take too much time, or would be too hard. The time for me to wake up from my slumber is now. The time to say yes to the healing process is in this very moment. As Jesus' questions implies, in order to live a healed life, often we have to want it. Our spirits have to be willing to leave the alcoves of stagnation. But there is more than an invitation to say yes to healing in this morning's story. There is mighty good news in it too. And the good news is this: the source of healing is not limited to the flutter of angel wings, and it is wider than any ancient pool. The Spirit's healing waters flow forth from a never-ending stream, and those who drink from it will never thirst. For this water quenches the thirst for life abundant, and life abundant it sustains. So, my friends, I pray that we will each be guided to where the waters of life flow. And when we are, I pray that our spirits will be willing, trusting in the ways the water might be troubled, faithful in its power to transform even our roughest and sharpest parts into soft and beautiful reflectors of the Spirit's light and love. Let us enter into our time of prayer together by singing hymn number 210 in the gray hymnal.
Please join me in prayer. God of life, Spirit of goodness, water of healing, we rest together this morning in a season that asks us to turn our hearts toward sacred streams. Let us remember that on this journey, we do not know where that healing will emerge or what it will look like. But let us remember we are asked only to bring ourselves, bare and vulnerable and far from perfect, to kneel down before that water of life. Help us remember to rest in awe and love the world and all that is in it just as it is right now. And help us also to have the will and the strength in shared community, in shared vision, to keep it from remaining quite as it is. We remember with deep care and concern all those around the world who are displaced from homes due to natural disasters, civil unrest, illness, and despair. May they find home with the company that surrounds them wherever they are, and know the face of the passion of a neighbor. We hold in our embrace all those who are struggling with an illness of body, mind, or spirit, their loved ones and caregivers. Especially this morning we pray with Paul, who is wishing for winning lottery numbers to pay for multiple hip surgeries. And we hold in our hearts parents who need care, and those among us who struggle with ongoing mysterious illness, and pray for not just the will to be healed, but a sense of wholeness that transcends our physical strength. We sing the praises and glories also of the great joys that catch us unaware. Bright sunshine, time shared with loved ones on snowy days. We give thanks for all of those great gifts of blessing that visit us in the smallest moments of life. And we continue our embrace and prayer for wholeness in this world by singing a meditation for loving kindness. As we do, I invite you to think first of someone you wish, specifically an individual for whom you wish wholeness, for wellness, and let their presence, their image be fully present with you as we sing. And also to hold a we that holds a community you are most connected to or most wishing for connection with, and let that be present for you. But we begin by singing for ourselves, for that wholeness we wish for ourselves. Notice in that singing a place in you that truly aches for wholeness, and sing into and out of that place. Let us sing, "May I be filled with loving kindness," as a conclusion of our prayer.
When the man beside the pool stood up, he left behind a passive life and was transformed into a healing and healed and active participant in his life and in our world. Ours is a faith hung on the belief that healing and transformation are possible. Brokenness into wholeness, faith into works, our gifts into our mission. With gratitude for the ways we have experienced healing in this faith community, let us now give of our gifts so that the thirsts of others might be quenched. of our unison dedication. May these gifts be transformed into strength for this faith community, into comfort, food, and shelter for those in need, and may we be transformed by generosity.
Water, as we have well celebrated this morning, is a symbol of our shared connection with one another and with all living beings. We are made of water. We need water to live. Plants and animals and the interconnected web of all existence also need water. So we offer you an opportunity. Instead of waiting by a miraculous, well-storied pool under the porticos, to share the angel's gift of being able to bless the water with healing power with each other in community this morning. So this water is just a simple reminder of who we really are. Inhabitants of a paradise that can be unfolded within us and among us and around us at any time, named and called to do works of love in this lifetime, gifted with the capacity to heal each other with our presence, and together to offer our presence and our collective gifts to our world. So the small cups of water that you were just handed are your blessing water. So I invite you to, in just a moment, after we have blessed this water, you're going to put a finger in the water, troubling it, as the angels are said to have done, and then to just make a circle of water on the back of the hand of one of your neighbors, and look them in the eye, and offer them the blessing for their own power of healing. And we'll do that until everyone has gotten a blessing and everyone has had a chance to give a blessing. So given our configuration this morning, it might mean moving out of your pews, but feel free. So let's take a moment and bless the water. I invite whoever has a cup of water to just hold it. And we'll say this simple prayer over the water. God of life, we give thanks for your essence in this water. So vital, so common, so precious. Help us be reminded as we feel its touch on our skin of the most essential gifts of life we possess. Let its presence and power be a reminder that in the most everyday stuff of life, we know most truly our connection to all of life. Let us discover there the wholeness that holds us each and every day and calls us forward to life made new. Amen. So we offer the blessing and reminder of this water to one another now, dipping a finger in, making a circle on your neighbor's hand, and saying, as you look each other in the eye, I bless you for the work of healing. Let's rise in body or spirit to sing our final song, Shall We Gather at the River, number 1046 in the Teal Songbook.
Please be seated. Let us go in peace to love, to serve, each and all of us blessed for the work of healing. Amen.